Hi, my name is Charles Malki, biologist and plant expert with Ivory Organics, where we grow cool plants. And today we have the honor and privilege of being here with Edgar Valdivia, who is the leading educator and promoter of dragon fruit, as I like calling it, in the modern era. Well, let's take a tour of some of the plants, and I know you're going to talk about the height and how to keep them manageable size.
Okay.
So let's go and check that out. Okay, so share with us, what do we have here?
Oh, we have a dragon fruit in here, and you can see now we're in the month of September. We still have buds. So from this point of bud till the flower opens it up takes 30 days.
Okay.
And once you do the cross-pollination or hand pollination, then you will have the fruit in 30 days more. So the whole cycle is give you 60 days to get the fruit ready. So you will have 4 times that you can get production of fruits. So it's a very good
that's very
plant,
fast,
very fast
return on investment.
Yeah. And look, normally the fruit, they come in the branches that they're hanging down.
Yeah.
As you can see in here, we have 4. We're going to have 4 fruits that produce it.
4 here, another one over here,
and another.
And there's more throughout the whole structure.
And look, we have a big fruit over there already forming.
The other.
Right there.
Wow, there's a big one up there. But we're going to see some more as we walk around. So explain to us like the structure here. Most of the plant is under, I mean, my height is 6 feet, my reach is 8, but I would say most of the plants are lower. 4 feet maybe.
Yes, yes. You see, mostly my plants, they are in pots because my soil is clay. It's very difficult to grow it, and then once you have in pots, it's more easy to control the nutrition that you put into the plant.
Yeah.
So, and the water, dripping system, and you don't need too much water. I put only once a week, 30 minutes of water, and they are very healthy. The only reason they look kind of bad is because the cold weather, and here in my city, reached 26 last year.
Yeah, I want you to emphasize that. So your nighttime lows in the winter are as cold as 26 degrees Fahrenheit, and then your summers are as high as, it usually exceeds 100, right?
110.
So 110 degrees, average summer, 110?
No, every at 106.
106 this year.
But maybe 3 or 4 nights.
Yeah, but I know last year, 2018, was
1 week
crazy hot here in Southern California, where I know in the Hollywood Hills it hit 115, and I think over here it was like 116, you said, right?
That's the problem. That's the problem we have, and they're supposed to have shade. As you can see, this is the frame where I used to have my shade. You see?
So I see a fig tree here.
No, I have to have my shade before, but I took it out.
Oh, you got a shade cloth system in place.
all of that before.
Got it.
But now, since my trees are big, they produce shade enough, so then I took it out. So then,
how does your production, how is it affected by, if you have a shade cloth over your dragon fruit, how well does it fruit?
Normally, the type of shade that you have to put is 25% or light.
Okay.
It has to be, the shade has to penetrate, because if you put too much shade, then the plant will be healthy, beautiful green, but no fruits, no flowers.
The 25% is filter 25% of the light out, or filter 75% of the light?
75 out.
Wow.
Yes, yes.
So you're only allowing 25% of the light in through the shade cloth.
Yes, yes,
and then production is still okay on your dragon fruit?
Yeah, but very low.
Very low.
Once we remove the shade, and now they have more sun, then we have more flowers.
But the shade cloth is only like in that first year, right? You don't do it for the whole life of or if there's a heat wave maybe coming through, you'll protect it.
Normally you do when the plants are young. Once the plants are established, they are strong.
You remove it.
But you remove it. That's why I remove it. And I remove it mostly too because my plants now they are very tall and they give a lot of shade to my plant.
It's really important, I want to emphasize with the shade cloth, and this is just not on your pitahayas, your dragon fruit, but pretty much all fruit trees. If you're putting a shade cloth, you're taking away the energy.
Yes.
And the strength of the tree, which relies on the sun. So if you're filtering the light, then you're taking away the strength of the plant and the ability of the plant to support maximum yield.
Yes, and remember this too. The sweetness is, and the fruit is developed by the sun.
The sweetness
because
is the sun.
You can see a peach. With same tree, the one peach branch was having a lot of sun. That peach is sweet. You pick up the
one behind it in the shade.
Behind the shade, and there's no sweet. So it's a very good proof that the sun actually gives
the sun gives the sweetness. I love it.
Yeah.
That's great.
You need the sun.
Well, let's see a couple more plants.
And I have in here all different types. For example, over here you can see this flower dome was pollinated. The seeds have become yellow, and that's the way it is. So this one was pollinated, and do you see the ovary, the fruit already forming. So I recommend this to cut this particular flower, because actually, if you don't cut this, you know, will attract more
mildew
ants
and rot and so forth.
Ants they will be, because you don't need this anymore.
Oh, I see the ants. If you come a little closer, you'll see.
Then you get ants.
So the dry flower is attracting the ants
Yeah,
to the fruit.
You can cut it off, and then.
And that'll keep the fruit more bug-free.
Yeah, more bug-free, and they will be growing so well.
Check this out. More.
See, like this one example over here. You have another fruit that is growing.
So again, you'd recommend you remove it?
Yeah.
Do I have the okay to do it?
Yeah, just pull it out. Or cut it. Cut it.
Trying to twist it off here.
Yeah, normally you cut it out, or you know, that's
goes.
it. That's the best. So then it's no contamination and no, because
see
ants will grow in there, and they will.
There's a few circling the fruit.
They will be there, and ants bring you aphids. And then that will damage the fruit. So if you have the aphids, what you have to do is get your hose with water and hose it up with soap and clean it up.
Sounds good.
And so looking here, simple, this one was exposed to so much light, so much sun. Do you see the color completely different? It's yellow. That's why I've been talking to you. If the whitewash, we can put it in here, and maybe will be like insulation that protects from the sun.
Sorry.
And because that is the main problem that mostly the people, they will have, as the heat is increasing in our weather, the plants, they will be exposed to more sun, and then the plant will die actually. So we want to try to use his product to see if it will work like insulation protection. Okay.
And so now what we're going to do is use the Ivory Organic 3-in-1 Plant Guard Ready to Use spray. This is protection against damaging sunburn, insects, and rodents. For uses on your fruit, nut trees, ornamental trees, and shrubs. For use in organic production, healthier than latex, paint, and tar-based products. And what we're going to do is simply apply it to the leaves, like so. And it's hard, and you can see like it's kind of gone on like milk. And I know one of your concerns was, hey, can I brush the product on? And we discussed that because you call these leaves, but they kind of also look like branches, and if it's at the very bottom, it's the trunk. But these branches are the leaves. It's actually making its sugars through the stem. The stem is is also a leaf. So all of the chlorophyll molecules that create the metabolic processes and making the sugars and the proteins and all of the fruits and energy are all derived from the stems. And so the goal is to protect the leaf or the stem with this dilute, again, sunburn protection to the plant, as we just did. So this is going to offer some protection, but when it dries on, it's going to leave a very light film, very similar to one of the varieties of
Trisha
dragon fruit that you came up with called the Trisha, which has a naturally light bark. Just like some trees have dark bark, some trees naturally have light bark. To reflect that excess light, by spraying it with the Ivory Organic 3-in-1 Plant Guard, you're going to give the plant some of that protection. It's also ideal if you're ever moving a plant or repotting. It'll help also with transplant shock as well. So I want you to keep on using it. This entire structure, look at how fast we can actually just spray it, just as if you're going to the beach, and it's going to help the plant get through those, you know, the average. Here we are now in the fall with equal days and nights, 12 hours of sun, but some days are quite hot and quite intense on this plant, even though it's in the canopy of the tree. But in the spring and summer, we're dealing with 13 to 14 hours of hot sun, and the tree is suffering, as you can see in this example. But I want you to continue using this.
Yeah,
and
I think that it will be nice to start using this product early in the summertime, before the heat damage the plants. If you can spray this in the leaf, you know, then you will have a protection from the sun to the leaves of the dragon fruit. So then you don't have to spend money in putting shade. you know, all that kind
The
of
shade
thing.
cloth, absolutely.
Shade cloth and results.
So these dragon fruits that we've just visited between the containers, and it looks like this one's in the ground. Nope, it's in container as well.
All of them are in the container.
How old is it again, you said?
This one is almost 20 years old.
So about 20 years old, and here it is still thriving and producing. I can see little buds throughout it as well.
All of them are producing.
Yeah, that's wonderful. There it is right there.
Yes, there's another one over there too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, let's go see also the Trisha. I want to see the light one, and then let's also take a look at those air roots and how it's attaching to the structure.
All right.
So what is this over here?
Right here, we've been talking before that Pitahaya and Pitahaya. Here you can see the real Pitahaya from Mexico. This is a columnar type that grows in the deserts. They don't need too much water at all. And they give you a small fruit similar to the Pitahaya, but it's a small, it's a good flavor, but it's very small. But this one can grow in the deserts. I have a hard time in here getting production because I don't have enough heat to be able.
But what a beautiful structure, beautiful plant.
And guess what? I grew this from seed.
Oh wow!
Yeah, 15 years old plant. This is.
The great thing with seeds, if you're planting a seed and you happen to hit the jackpot, like you have a couple of times, and we're going to talk about that in a second when we see the Trisha. So just like our children, they're not identical to mom and dad. They're all different. They might resemble mom and dad, but sometimes they don't. And that's what's so unique about seeds. But sometimes you hit the jackpot in the sense that seedlings end up carrying some superior characteristics, such as sweetness, if sweetness is what we're looking for, or what are other characteristics? Color. We saw the magenta compared to the red, compared to the white.
This is a magenta flower over there.
Right here, take a look at the color.
This is that is Assunta 4.
So instead of a white flower or a yellow flower, this is a red flower.
Yes, a red flower. When I mentioned this, you know, I call Assunta. Assunta was the name of my mother. You know, I lost my mother when I was 9 years old.
Sorry to hear that.
So that's why I put Assunta, the name of my mother. And Assunta mean in real sense is the Assumption of the Virgin when go to
the ascension.
Want to go to the heaven. That's why I put Assunta. So I have Assunta 1, Assunta 2, Assunta 3, Assunta 4, Assunta 5, and now we have Assunta 5 right there. So for 20 years I've been working that to improve it. Little by little I improve. In the beginning it was a small fruit, no flavor, white inside, and now we have a big plant, red fruit, good taste.
That's fantastic.
And very tolerant. And still the flower is red. As you can see, that fruit is forming over there. All of these are actually Assunta's line, mostly all of them.
Look at how beautiful. I'm hoping you can capture this as we pass. You know, check out how beautiful these fruit are. And it really, like, even though we call it dragon fruit and it kind of looks like a dragon, I know you have a story also about the dragon and the fire.
Yes.
Can you share that story with us? How did the Chinese come up with
the name become fire? Because, you know, in the Asian people say dragon is a very big, like God for us, the dragon for them. So they believe in the dragon a lot. So powerful. The dragon used to throw balls of fire, you know, was very strong animal and loaded with power. So they say, oh, the dragon was there and the last blood, the last ball of fire, they catch it, and that say we have to take it to our emperor, to the king, so then our king will be strong like a dragon. So they give it that was the Pitahaya.
The dragon fruit.
And they give the dragon fruit to the emperor. That's why it became the dragon fruit. And then the emperor lived longer and ruled China. Look how big China now.
It's a beautiful story.
So, but that is the name. Sometimes the fruits they get, because for some reason they get any tradition they want to introduce to the culture. A dragon fruit is a typical name for, of course, in the Asian names it's called different name, you know, as in the Asian translation. But then here in the United States it's called dragon fruit.
That's fantastic. Well, let's take a look at the last couple of varieties around the corner.
See, you can grow in different ways. You can grow up to the balcony.
So here's another variety adjacent to the home. I saw here's a little baby bud. This one yet has to bloom. Hasn't bloomed yet, but the one below it already bloomed and is already fruiting. And just take a look at the scales. Every single variety is unique, because I'm assuming again you planted seeds.
Yeah, this is the polyrhizome type. This one is native from Nicaragua.
This is from Nicaragua.
Yeah.
and I can see there's blossoms everywhere.
Yeah,
But the other cool thing I want to share with you is how it's attached to the structure. So if you can take a look here, I want you to see the stucco and how this is like, I'm going to try to draw the analogy with like a creeping ivy or English ivy. Whenever it comes into contact with the stucco, there's roots that are basically binding and holding on and anchoring the plant to the structure, to the point that even if this were severed and no longer attached to the container, it would more likely than not still survive.
Because they get nutrition from the air.
It gets the nutrition from the air.
Humidity and everything. And that's the way they grow in the jungle. You know, you can see a very tall. That's why in here in my house, remember, I try to grow in different ways so the people can see how they want to grow in their homes. And in here, that's why, look how high it is. They're growing all the way up to my balcony. So I pick it up the fruit when I go into my balcony and then like that. So you can grow the dragon fruit any way you want it. It's up to you how much you taste. And over here we have different, all of them in pots, as you can see.
Roja. So this is your red variety.
15 gallon is plenty of space.
Yeah.
Plenty of space for the fruit to grow. Look, you see, because they have too much. Even if I have in here a bigger redwoods, you know, they give me shade.
And
they
the other
get sun.
Yeah, I want you to also explain what's happening here. What's this?
Look, the arrow roots in here. Do you see? The plant looks for nutrition from the atmosphere, from the weather, because it gets so hot. And they
check this out over here. All the air roots coming out of the stems, or out of the leaves, as Edgar also calls it, because again, these are the leaves for the plant, as well as the stem, as well as the tree trunk. Something else I want to recommend, and I always teach, like protecting the heart of the tree, being the tree trunk and the primary branches. So if we can protect that and make it last as long as possible, then we're going to have a tree that's going to last longer and hopefully give us many more productive years. But I can see over here there's some yellowing happening to the, let's call it the trunk of the tree, and I would protect this from, it looks like there's also damaging sunburn against the trunk, and I would encourage that you go with the brush, with the product that I gave you, and brush, paint it, and just turn it either white, or you can also use the Ivory Organics products in colors brown or green.
So that is very excellent.
The goal is also, if you put paint, or even if you use the Ivory Organics products, figure within a year or two, you're gonna have to reapply it, because the plant's gonna grow, it's gonna make new skin, just like our own skin. It's a dead layer on the outside, but it's gonna shed with the product you put on it, and you're gonna have to reapply. So figure every year or two, you're gonna reapply the whitewash to the tree trunk, let's say this lower foot or two, so that we preserve the heart, the primary part of the structure. So in the event anything above us burns or dies, or the wind breaks or whatever, at least this heart of the plant will continue pushing out new branches. The goal is, again, that as the plant is shedding its skin, and with the product, you don't want to use a latex paint or a chemical-based product, because now you're contaminating your soil. Correct. So if the goal is you're going to do organic gardening, you wouldn't want to put a latex or a synthetic product, and instead you're going to use an organic. It's also now Armory certified for organic gardening use as well. And we've also been supplying to orchards all the way from Florida to California that are certified organic and can no longer use paint. Otherwise, it'll affect the certification.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
it's wonderful that you guys are working in those to give to the farmers or to the home growers good products, so they can grow very good plants.
Thank you.
Because that's the name of the game, to have a good product and especially healthy. Because right now, we have so many things they using into the plants. They put so many chemicals. One example I can tell you is that they using Roundup. Roundup is using everywhere now, and now they find out Roundup gives cancer, and they put into the corn. The corn has Roundup, and this contamination. So try to avoid those things using organic products.
Of course,
that's more healthy for you.
Yeah.
Because remember, we have only one life.
Yeah. We've got to do a good job with it.
Even if you have a ton of money, you cannot lifetime buy time.
Correct.
So try to eat healthy.
For sure.
And over here you have another different plant, and
this one over here. Wait, where's your?
This is Trisha.
And this one over here, I'm actually very impressed with. What's this one called?
It's Trisha.
And what's so unique about it?
This particular is one of my best plants, in the point of the heat and hard tolerance, cold weather.
Oh wow!
Because this plant, look herself, that's a dust, a powder.
I love it.
Do you see?
So all of these plants, and it's not just because of the location, and I know it's got a lot of
this is a different
debris coming from the tree up above, but But this here is the Trisha, another variety that Edgar accomplished and successfully bred. That has, can you explain the flavor and the color? And
the flavor is excellent. You tasted back there. It's deep red and good.
Oh,
flavor.
it was that one. That was the Trisha, the second one. So we tried the Conrad and then the
shape
Trish.
is not round like a regular dragon fruit. This is elongate, like a pear type. You know?
Got it. And the other cool thing that you said, and I love what you just also said, is look at the coloration of the stem, and this applies not just here, but if you clone.
This is a regular Pitahaya example. I have two plants in here.
But within a few weeks or a few months, it'll
can
transition.
see the difference. Look,
yeah. So this
one
young.
has powder, and this one has powder for protection. The only problem
Wait,
with
is this the same or different?
No, it's different. This
is this grafted on?
No, it's two plants in there growing.
Oh, so compare this. So this here's the typical dragon fruit. As you can see, there's no white powder on it. But this one over here has the white powder, like I like calling it. It's been whitewashed naturally. Yes. The plant does its own whitewashing.
Is that the only bad part of this, the Trisha that has big thorns.
Sharper thorns.
Yeah, but I cross-pollinate this one using Trisha as the mother and using the American Beauty as the father.
Which is more thornless, right?
And I got now the Assunta that is very strong, very healthy plant, no thorns.
Yeah.
And the fruit is excellent.
I want you to emphasize again the value, like again for climate, hotter and colder region. How does this help it grow better in hotter zones and colder zones because of the white powder that's on there? Explain.
That helps a lot because remember, depend where you live. You know, if you live close to the ocean, you don't have too much heat. You don't need those things because actually the humidity of the atmosphere will protect the plant because this is a semi-tropical plant. So if you are close to the ocean in San Diego, those areas, it's nice. But my location is Simi Valley, and I have extremely hot and cold weather. Like I mentioned before, the cold weather is 26. And winter and summertime is 106. So my plants goes to a lot of stress, a lot of problems.
Extreme weather.
So I'm glad that this part of the plant has natural in there, protecting from the cold and from the sun. So it's very healthy producing in here.
So it's less stressful. And you can also see again, this here is another
different
dragon fruit, so it's got its own root. This is adjacent to the Trisha variety, and you can see the Trisha variety is a lot greener. Overall, it's actually much healthier looking than this one over here that experienced some heat stress as we're now towards the end of summer.
Yeah, and you can. The reason I put two plants in this part is so they cross-pollinate.
Oh, I get it. They're right next to each other, so the pollen is exchanging with the ovary.
Remember, I getting too old, and I cannot go doing pollination, so I rely on the bees. That's why I try to put together the plants, so then they will pollinate.
Two different varieties. Makes sense.
Yeah, in one plant. All of them are Trisha. Trisha is very, very strong, but they, you see, over here too, they get a lot of sun. That's why we're going to try to.
Yeah, check this out again. All this yellowing happening. All, again,
too much sun.
Sun stressed.
That's why I'm glad that I hope so your product is going to work and doing the function of protecting from the sun. So I'm going to try to use and for beginning for next summer, and then we'll see the results how it's actually.
No, I look forward. Yeah. And I'm not too far away from you. If you ever need anything, just call me over. It's always a treat coming to your Garden of Eden. Thank you.
Very good. This is a little fruit. Normally they become big, and you can see this one is completely different too.
That's amazing.
And the flavor of this one is. This is very little.
Well, I left my spoon behind, so let's. Oh, you're gonna peel it.
This one's supposed to be big, you know, big fruit.
Wow.
Okay, you can peel the skin out and taste it.
I'm gonna wait for you.
All right.
Cheers.
Look how you see all the antioxidants that you get in this fruit. That is the good part. Deep red, a lot of antioxidants, and it's good for you. And the seeds are very small. Don't worry, you can eat it, and it might help you to digestion system.
It's my new favorite fruit. You're all going to see I'm going to be adding more and more dragon fruit to my home orchard, and I hope you guys all do the same. This is fantastic. Thank you so much for this treat.
Very sweet.
You've definitely inspired me today. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm glad you came over and have a chance to make this little movie about the dragon fruit. I hope some people will learn with that. And remember, we are here not to make money. The only purpose of doing this to help you with knowledge to you, so then you will grow these plants more helpful.
The money thing, and I told Edgar, I'm like, what varieties of dragon fruit are we going to promote today and hopefully help you like sell more? And just to let you know, so Edgar's come up with 2 varieties that are commercially available and propagated by the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, around the world. One of them being the Trisha, which we just saw with the naturally whitewashed skin, which is unique to his variety that he's accomplished. So we got the Trisha variety that's excellent tasting. That was the magenta,
yes,
color that we had at the beginning. And then he also came up with what's called Edgar's baby dragon, as I like calling her, Edgar's baby dragon fruit. And so that's another variety. And I'm like, so which one are we promoting and how do we increase sales? And he said, it's not about the money. And he's like, I don't even make money from that. It was, again, his gift from his garden that he's shared with his friends and his mentors.
Joseph Simcock was the guy that came over here and he took it and he propagated it doing tissue culture. And from one little piece of dragon fruit, 2 inches the leaf, he made it almost 500 different plants and doing the tissue culture. And he's selling all the plants worldwide. And the money goes to a very good purpose to help the poor countries and different countries. I myself, I don't make any money from my orchard. Always I donate my plants to the peoples. Remember, I will say I don't like the money. I like the money because we have to, it's needed to live. But I enjoy it because when I give it to somebody, they say, thank you, Ed. I will die pretty soon, but I know he will have that plant growing in his backyard. And each time he's going to go back there, he says, oh, this plant gives me Ed. So actually, my name and my memory will be in so many homes.
It's around the world.
Remember me, that Edgar, not for the money that I received. So I don't receive any money from anybody. I give him cuttings and everything. So if you want to come and get cuttings, you are welcome to come. Just give me a call and I will be able to give it to you. Another source I want to tell you is the university too gives a lot of free cuttings. We have Ramiro Lobo is doing a lot of work. Every year he make a big festival and he donate cuttings and fruit to everybody that goes to the university festivals of the dragon fruit.
Well, to meet Edgar and his beautiful wife, Pat, and to get connected to the California Rare Fruit Growers, where Pat's still a board member and Edgar participates whenever, however, and also does a lot of education as speakers to these events. Be sure to go to the crfg.org website, which stands for the California Rare Fruit Growers. I'm putting that link here at the bottom of the screen as well as in the comments down below. Be sure to check that out, get connected, find the chapter nearest you throughout all of California. In addition to, we just learned, or you taught me, they've now expanded into Texas and they're also in Arizona.
All over the world.
And yeah, so I mean, they're connected and there's about 2,500 members worldwide. And it's an excellent opportunity to network and find other people that love growing plants and especially rare fruit growers such as Edgar. And I'm hoping we can do another quick tour with what little time I've got left. We can do that in a separate publication where we can hopefully see his beautiful Garden of Eden, as I like calling it, being he's got the fruit to basically feed him and his family every single day of the year. There's always something going on in this garden, and I can't wait to share that with you. I'm also going to do a link to Edgar's YouTube channel where he's got some educational lessons, more so on dragon fruit, some on figs and so forth.
I grow in almost, like I say, 80 different type of fruits. So me and my wife, we post a lot of movies in there. You just go to Edgar Valdivia, dragon fruit or Pitahaya, and you will get all the movies in there. So watch them there. It's free. It's educational for you, and I hope you will learn.
And you can also write your questions there.
All my learn, I want to tell you, thanks to CRFG, is that I got into this hobby. Through CRFG, I learned through all the members, and I read, I talk to people, so all that stuff, how to grow those different types. Right now, I have my beautiful garden that keeps me busy. Like I say, I'm 80 years old. You know, I need a hobby. If you're going to retire, plan what hobby you're going to get into when you retire. You have to know what you're going to do when you retire.
I'm going to be in my garden.
and the most cheap hobby is horticulture.
It's cheap. It's, as you mentioned, maybe in another lesson that we did together, it's educational, it's rewarding because it feeds you, and it's good for your brain. It helps you de-stress and forget about your worries.
And you meet
of the day.
wonderful people. Like today, I just met
I wouldn't have known you had an open for this.
and everything related to the fruits. So it's a good you get into the hobby of horticulture.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so very much. And again, I'm going to put that link to Edgar's YouTube channel at Edgar Valdivia at the end of this lesson, as well as you'll find them in the comments. If you found this helpful and educational for you and you've learned something new, please give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the push bell notification so you get notified of these educational lessons as soon as they be made available. As always, keep growing with Ivory Organics, and wishing you all happy gardening.
Goodbye.